Welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting of 19 August 2026. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, Berrigan Shire Council's meetings are recorded. By speaking at a council meeting, members of the public agree to being recorded. Berrigan Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory, discriminatory or offensive remarks or gestures that are made during the course of the council meeting. Opinions expressed or statements made by individuals are the opinions or statements of those individuals and do not imply any form of endorsement by Berrigan Shire Council. Confidential matters of council will not be recorded. Recordings are protected by copyright and owned by Berrigan Shire Council. No part may be copied, recorded, reproduced or transmitted without the prior written consent of the CEO. Any recording is not and shall not be taken to be an official record of Berrigan Shire Council meetings or the discussion depicted therein. Only the official minutes may be relied upon as an official record of the meeting. A recording of the council meeting will be taken for administrative and minute preparation purposes only and is provided to the public for listening purposes to support council's statutory obligations. Berrigan Shire Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and thrive. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. The people of these great nations, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and lands. Apologies and leave of absence. We have an application for a leave of absence due to work commitments from Councillor Natikoa. Would someone like to move to accept that? Yep. Councillor Brooker, seconded. Councillor Dennis, all in favour? Thank you, carried. Any other applications for leave of absence? No attendance via audio-visual link. We have confirmation of minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting of 15 July 2026. Would someone like to move to accept those? Councillor Stringer, seconded. Councillor Brooker, all in favour of accepting those? Yep. Thank you, carried. Disclosure of interests. Does anyone like to disclose any interests? Councillor Healy.
A non-pecuniary interest in 9.12, yep. And I've sought advice from the CEO and will be able to remain in the room for that item.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brooker?
Yeah, 9.8, the Barooga Rec Reserve Draft Plan of Management, just that I am re-elected the Secretary for the 355 committee for that, so depending on what the CEO would prefer, whether he would like me to leave or I don't think it's going to make any change.
Leave the chamber?
I would recommend, considering the substantive nature, that you do leave the chamber, Councillor Brooker.
Yep, that's fine.
Councillor Hannan? Microphone.
I have one at 10.3. My employers mentioned a couple of times TAFE New South Wales in the notice of motion, so I will leave the chamber.
Okay, thank you. And in relation to 9.10, I will mention, which are the local orders, that I am an owner of pets in the Shire. I don't think that's a substantive issue, but I mention it nonetheless. And CEO?
Mayor, I will declare a conflict of interest in confidential item 11.2 and confidential item 11.9. For the purpose of 11.9, I will leave the meeting.
Okay, thank you. We have any other disclosures of interest? I think that's a lot. Thank you. We have no Merrill minute and we have no reports of committees. We'll move to reports to council, and I'd like to propose that we move as a block items 9.1 through to 9.6, assuming no one wishes to vote against or debate those matters. Would someone like to move that? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Brooker. I'll now go through the titles of each to allow for any questions. 9.1 is the investment report for July. Yep. Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor Talia, the investment register deposit 165-24 is shown with a maturity date of 15th of April 2026. Is that date an error, or has it the matured investment remained on the register for a reason?
Can you clarify?
The Westpac General 165-24. Term day is 365. Rate 5.35%. Maturity date 15th of the 4th 26.
I'll have to clarify and get back to you on that one.
Thank you.
Take that on notice. Any other for 9.1? Okay, 9.2, actions from previous council meetings. 9.3 is council law requests for July. 9.4 is the correspondence report for June and July. 9.5 is the operational plan annual review.
I have questions for 9.5.
Yes.
I've got 3 questions. In regards to the community strategic plan, the operational plan, the update that we've received, for CO5, the action name is partner with traditional owners and others to implement the reconciliation action plan. I was just wanting some clarification on what preparatory work has been undertaken to support the development of that plan in this last year.
Mayor, can I invite Ms Woden to provide a response?
Yes, so we have signed up with Reconciliation Australia, which gives us affiliation with them. So at the moment they provide us with a template to use, and then I've made contact with local communities to try and be on board and to get their input for it. Then that goes back to Reconciliation Australia for any recommendations or adjustments that need to be made. So that goes back and forth. So at the moment, we're only at the building stage. But we've engaged Reconciliation Australia.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I'm the councillor that is the representative on that group, so would love to chat with you about that further after the meeting. My next question was in regards to the infrastructure, point 2, improving public and community transport options to enhance access for all residents. This is a long-standing issue for our community, and it impacts people's access to healthcare, employment, family, social connections, etc., just to name a few. And more vulnerable people in our community are more impacted. I'm just wondering what's been done to advocate for accessible and reliable public transport services for our community.
If I could answer that, Mayor, myself and the Mayor met with Murrumbidgee Health last week, and we raised this very issue insofar as the accessibility of transport for members of our community to access appropriate healthcare, and they have responded in noting that, and we're working through that. We also note that the draft Riverina Integrated Transport Strategy was released 2 weeks ago, which we're currently evaluating with a view to providing a submission and again raising this issue through that appropriate advocacy channel. This is a matter that comes up through a number of our advocacy channels, including RAMJO and other interactions with government. It is very much a live agenda, but the integrated draft transport strategy is quite a comprehensive strategy at this stage, and is going to require a little bit more time to look at the specific implications of Berwick-and-Shire. I will provide a response in due course as appropriate.
Thank you, CEO. And just to clarify, is it right, there was a comment in there around bus companies, local bus companies have been consulted with, I think, in this. There's been, I need clarification, can anybody use the school bus services? Is that why, like, to access employment in other towns? Or perhaps we could find out, I don't know that people understand.
I will take that on notice, but my understanding the school bus service is provided by a private operator, and it is exclusive for pick-up and drop-off of Shire and Moira Shire schools only for students. But I will take that on notice to clarify.
Thank you. And my final question is in regards to CL 1.1 and 2, 1.1 and 1.2, improve council processes to make doing business with council easier. Just an update on the CRM, because that's been an important one for us. How is it being prioritised for 26-27 financial year?
The governance of the overall technology project has been improved, including myself chairing the implementation committee, which we meet fortnightly. There is a number of milestones and other objectives that need to be completed consistent with the project plan. The CRM is one of those. The CRM was scheduled to be run out on a pilot basis this month. In fact, we have rescheduled that to later in the year. There is a number of ongoing testing that is required, including further hiring of resources necessary for that to be implemented. And one of the key resources that we are looking at the moment is a change manager / training officer to assist all staff with their requirements to understand the technology and to utilise it in a practical sense. We are incorporating quarterly reporting to council on status, and I think if I could ask Ms Fry that the next report will come to the next council meeting on that. If not, it'll be October, and I'll provide much more further detail on the implementation of the rollout then.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for 9.5? Okay, 9.6 is the extraordinary council meeting of 16 September 2026 with the mayoral election. Do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor?
The extraordinary meeting is at 4 p.m. on the 16th of September, prior to the ordinary meeting on the same day, which on the end of the papers says is at 9 a.m. So that would be a long gap. Is that right?
No, it's supposed to be 4 p.m.
We will take that on notice, Deputy Mayor. If it is an unintended typo, we do apologise.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll put to the vote all in favour of 9.1 through to 9.6 in accordance with the recommendations articulated in the agenda. Thank you, carried. We're up to 9.7, which is confirmation of designated persons. Would someone like to introduce that one for us?
Just let me, Mayor, get to the right agenda item if I could, please. Mayor, the report is required for the purposes of meeting our statutory obligations to identify designated persons within the organisational structure for those who need to complete a written return of interest as per our code of conduct to conduct their statutory obligations. We have recently conducted an audit of our entire list of authorised individuals and designated persons, and we have included that in the report, consistent with their delegation of regulatory and procurement functions that is articulated in our relevant policies. This is a procedural report and will come to council from time to time, if council adopts this report, which we'd be confident that they do, that'll allow the individuals that are listed in their positions to carry out their delegated functions as per their statutory requirements.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor, just some clarification. Will this report not immediately be outdated with the confidential matter 11.1 ARIC chairperson appointment?
So, Deputy Mayor, I think you're referring to the delegated functions in regards to the 3 members of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee listed on page 3 of the report. As the adoption of the ARIC chair as per the confidential agenda item has not been considered and resolved by council at this stage, we still procedurally need to go through and designate the current members of the ARIC as designated persons. Once and if council does adopt the ARIC chair report, then a subsequent report will come to council with the new ARIC members. Sounds a little bit convoluted, but we just need to follow the process accordingly.
That's right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so the recommendation is that council adopt and identify the positions outlined in our agenda and occupants as designated persons as defined in the Berrigan Shire Council Code of Conduct. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, a seconder. Councillor Healy, all in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. All right, we're up to 9.8. which is the Barooga Recreation Reserve Draft Plan of Management for Public Exhibition. Councillor Brooke is going to step out.
And if I could introduce Ms Cleven to introduce the report.
have to join the meeting. 2 secs.
Can you go up and check?
I take it we're having some IT problems.
Draft plan of management for the Baruga Rec Reserve. This is to put it on public exhibition for 28 days with submissions for 42. It is quite a lengthy document. I think it's over 120 odd pages. It's a legal requirement for council to have a plan of management as per our development session. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Deputy Mayor?
Through you, Mayor. Just some clarification on page 172 of the agenda. It says RE1 private recreation, and on page 243 it says RE2 private recreation northwestern section. Is this correct with the two different classifications, or is one? Is page 172 with the RE1 incorrect reference?
I'll take that on notice and get back to you.
Thank you. Will the consultation material clearly explain to the existing informal clubs users the possibility of future fees, leases, licences, formal conditions, usage hire, the grounds, rather than finding out after adoption?
If I could answer that, Deputy Mayor, the fees are, and the schedule of fees are matters that are contained within the annual budget and financial planning of the council. They are separate to this document. This is a statutory requirement under the Crown Land Management Act. The purpose of the plan is to identify the use and potential future use of the site consistent with the statutory obligations. Or any other considerations insofar as users, leases, commercial or other arrangements or permissions within the site itself will be subject to consideration through the consultation period, but the issue regarding fees set to use the facilities will come to council separately through the budget and corporate document process.
Okay, thank you. And I have one more. Has a native title manager advice been obtained as per the Native Title Act?
Yes, I can answer that because I'm the native title manager.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yep.
Councillor Dennis.
It just says that you're going to have consultation through the regular channels. Can you elaborate what the regular channels are?
Yeah, so we'll be putting it on obviously our social channels and our website, but we'll also be meeting with the Section 355s and the user groups.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have a recommendation which is to endorse the draft Baruga Rec Reserve Crown Land Plan of Management for the purpose of public exhibition, to place the draft plan of management on public exhibition for a minimum period of 28 days, with submissions accepted for a period of not less than 42 days from the date on which the draft plan is first placed on public exhibition, to invite the Baruga Rec Reserve Committee of Management, reserve user groups, sporting clubs and the broader community to provide feedback during the exhibition period, and to receive a further report following the conclusion of the public exhibition and submission period, detailing submissions received and any proposed amendments to the draft plan of management prior to its adoption. Do we have a mover? Councillor Healy, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, do you wish to speak in favour? Or you're in favour?
I'm in favour. Yes, I know. I'm happy for this to be endorsed to go out to public consultation, and hope and look forward to seeing how that consultation process goes too.
Okay, anyone wish to speak against? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. Can we get Councillor Brooker back in? Councillor Brooker, the council resolved to accept the recommendation as articulated in that paper in relation to Barooga Rec Reserve. 9.9 is a lease agreement for the Tocumwal Aerodrome refuelling facility. We've got an introduction on that one.
Yes, Ms Cleven will also introduce this report.
Thank you.
This is a lease agreement for the aerodrome refuelling facility with K&S Freighters. This is a new lease, but it is technically a renewal. It's for a 5-year term. Any questions?
No questions? Okay, we have a recommendation that council approve the granting of a new lease to K&S Freighters Proprietary Limited over the Tocumwal Aerodrome refuelling facility for a term of 5 years commencing 31 January 2026, with one option to renew for a further term of 5 years on the terms contained within the lease, and that we authorise the Mayor and CEO to execute the lease and affix the common seal of Berwick and Shire Council to the lease and any associated documentation as required. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Dennis. Would you like to speak in favour of that, Councillor Stringer?
It's broken. Oh, no, it's fixed. No, I don't know. It's all self-explanatory.
Okay, anyone wish to speak against? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour of that? Thank you, carried. We're up to 9.10, which is the Berwick and Shire Local Policy and Order.
Mayor, if I could reintroduce Ms Woden to introduce the report.
Thank you.
So today I'm recommending that council adopts the draft for the local policy and order, and then to further place the local policy and order on public notice for a 28-day period. There will be an amendment to the document on page 5 in relation to the legislation. My apologies, there has been a typo regarding the companion animals regulation. This should read 2018, not 2008. This policy and order applies orders lawfully and responsibly to protect health, safety and the environment and community amenity through fair, sound decision making. Key element in understanding this policy is through communication, which we've put together a variety of methods to ensure we reach out to everybody in the community. It's a very important key element. If the document is adopted by council and after the notice and submission periods have expired, we will collate the submissions and provide a report back to council with any recommended amendments.
Just for council's information, the CEO tells me that item 1 should technically be endorse rather than adopt. The report mentions endorse, but the recommendation does not, so if we can consider that. Do we have any questions? Deputy Mayor?
I've raised a couple of matters with the CEO that will come back after the submission period.
Okay.
If I could acknowledge that, Mayor, that yes, those matters will be considered as part of the consultation, and we will address them specifically in our further report. I think it's at the October meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have a recommendation that council endorse the draft local order and place the order on public notice for a minimum period of 28 days. If any submissions are received for a period of not less than 42 days from the local order being placed on exhibition, officers are to review and make any necessary changes to the draft local order and to receive a further report following the exhibition period detailing any submissions received and any recommended amendments prior to final adoption. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Deputy Mayor. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak in favour? We'll need your microphone. No? Okay, would anyone else wish to speak in favour? Deputy Mayor? No? Okay. All right. We'll put it to the vote in that case. All in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. All right, item 911, which is our annual plant hire rates for 26-27. Do we have an introduction for that? Thank you.
The Director of Infrastructure will introduce this report.
Through the Mayor. This is annual plant hire rates for 26-27. We usually go out for the hire of plant and understand the rates for operation and capital works. At the time of some of these projects we undertake, we don't have this type of equipment or staff to operate equipment, so under consideration of maintenance and capital works. This gives us the capacity to not seek tenders, prolong the works to get the rates for these plant when we need to get these plants to do the works.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, we have a recommendation that Council accepts all compliant tenders submitted for TO1 26-27 annual plant hire rates 26-27 and establishes a panel of approved plant hire providers for the 26-27 financial year, that we authorise the CEO to engage approved plant hire providers from the panel as required, having regard to the tendered rates, plant availability, suitability, location, mobilisation costs and overall value for money, and subject to Council's adopted budgets and procurement requirements, and authorises the CEO of Council to be affixed to the relevant contracts in the presence of two authorised signatories pursuant to Regulation 400 of the Local Government General Regulation 2021. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, a seconder. Councillor Healy, would you like to speak in favour, Councillor Dennis?
It's all very explanatory and no, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. All right, all in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. We're up to item 912, which is the annual supply of quarry products and rates.
The Director of Infrastructure will also introduce this report.
We've put this tender out to understand what quarries are in the area and what products they have and what classification under when we go to do resheeting or pavement works. We understand what material and where they are, and all understand when we're doing our capital works projects or resheeting works throughout the Shire around haulage to keep the cost to a minimum for the Shire. So that's why we're adopting this.
Okay, any questions? No? All right, we have a recommendation that Council accepts the compliant tenders submitted by EB Mawson and Sons Proprietary Limited, Lawrence Brothers and Olex Civil for TO2 26-27 annual supply of quarry products and rates for the 26-27 financial year, that we authorise the CEO or delegate to enter into the relevant schedule of rates contracts with the successful tenderers, and we authorise the Council CEO to be affixed to the relevant contracts where required in the presence of two signatories, authorised to affix the CEO pursuant to Regulation 400 of the Local Government General Regulation 2021. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, seconded Councillor Hannan. Would you like to speak in favour, Councillor Dennis?
Yep, thank you for your work. It's quite in-depth, and the listing of all the information has been very appreciated and easy to understand. So, yep, in favour, thank you.
Anyone wish to speak against? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. Right, we're up to notices of motion. The first one is from me. It's related to a Government Information Public Access Act request for Tocumwal Ambulance. I'm moving the Council endorse the following. The Council seek information from New South Wales Ambulance pursuant to the GIPA Act regarding ambulance call-outs in Tocumwal on an annual basis for the 25-26 financial year and subsequent years for the purpose of updating Council's statistical database, and that the CEO be delegated authority to lodge the relevant GIPA application on behalf of Council. Do we have a seconder? Deputy Mayor, thank you. I'll just mention briefly, we did get a volunteer who built us a very good database so that we had some more accurate records of what is happening in relation to median times in priority 1 and 2 cases. And that database can be updated with new data as it comes to hand. And I actually think it's quite important for us to keep on top on whether there are improvements or not on an ongoing basis. Anyone wish to speak against or have any questions for me on that? No? Okay, we'll put that recommendation. All in favour? Thank you, carried. The second one is also from me. It comes from Local Government New South Wales following the ALP's national conference where they announced a federation compact in relation to federal assistance grants. The recommendation which I'm moving, I will read that out, is that Council welcomes the federal government's recent announcement recognising the very real challenge of financial sustainability impacting the local government sector and committing to a meaningful ongoing annual increase in the level of financial assistance grants, that we welcome the announcement of the Federation Compact with local government that commits to ongoing annual increases to financial assistance grants, to return them to historic levels, ensures road to recovery funding can be used to purchase plant and equipment to enable councils to carry out their own road maintenance with their own trained workers to the extent possible, support and increase the availability of apprenticeships in local government as well as other employment programs in a local government context, deliver new capabilities to improve outcomes in housing, planning, emergency management and aged care, and ensure the government publishes an annual summary of funding for local government, and writes to the Prime Minister and Local Government Minister Catherine King, welcoming their commitment to address the crisis in local government financial sustainability, and urges them to work with the local government sector to urgently progress the Federation Compact with local government. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Dennis, thank you. I think this is a very good first step. Like the proof will be in the pudding when we see what is actually goes into the Federation Compact, but now's the time to put the pressure on to make sure that that is fit for purpose. But finally, it's been recognised that 0.49% of taxation revenue doesn't cut it, so hopefully we will get some wins. Anyone have any questions or wish to speak against that at all? No? All in favour then? Thank you, carried. We're up to 10.3. Which is Councillor Healy's suggestion in relation to a youth program. Councillor Healy.
Thank you, Mayor. Rather than youth program, it's more of a youth voice. I don't know that program is the right word. I think I attach program to things that come in for a specific period of time and then they vanish. In the process of bringing this to council, I was disappointed when I realised that I missed that we removed detail from our delivery program incorporating the operational plan in regards to how we support young people to be empowered and resilient and to stay in our shire. And the detail that we left out was that council would partner with young people to deliver programs supporting their diverse needs, with the result being that young people would have a voice at council and contribute to council programs and activities, and that would be measured through having a formal consultation forum for young people and by the number of participants in youth-run events overseen by council. And second to that, the action was that council would advocate for local educational and training opportunities for young people, which is essentially what our current plan has in place. But I'm pleased to bring this notice of motion to council because I do believe that young people should have a meaningful opportunity to have their voices heard by our local council. They play an important part in our community, and you know, I would like to acknowledge the work that was done to engage them for our strategic plan that was put together. There was some great engagement, particularly in the primary schools, to have their voices heard. But as we plan strategically for the future, we need to be seeking input from our young people, as they are the ones that use our facilities, they participate in our sporting and community organisations, attend our schools, and importantly, we want to have them stay in our community to study, live and work. So what we're doing now, the decisions we're making and the plans we're developing should be done with their future in mind, and it's because of this that I'd like Council to establish the meaningful and sustainable way for children and young people to have a voice and contribute to council decision making, to identify what's important to them, what their opinions are on council matters, what they see could help our communities thrive and be a place that they wish to stay. To do that, we need to go to them from the outset and essentially ask them what this should look like. So it could be a youth council or a youth advisory group, as is stated in the motion, but it could be something else. I don't have a predetermined answer, and I don't think council should either, but we should start the conversation with them. So that's why I've brought this motion, with notice today.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Healy. I'm happy to second that, but I would propose an amendment to the subsection C, so that it is ways to engage young people who are not attending Finley High School or TAFE and reside in our LGA, including those who attend school in Victoria. Are you happy to accept that?
I am happy to accept that. I assumed that that would include those young people anyway, because we also have young people that are homeschooling in our area. So it's ways that we can engage all of the young people that reside or work or study here.
Okay. Excellent. Would anyone else like to comment, questions on this, speak against? No?
I was going to add the same thing, that a lot of Barooga and Tokemore students go to CAGS or Cobram Secondary College or further.
Okay. All right, so all in favour of Councillor Healy's notice of motion? Thank you, carried. And item 10.4, Councillor Healy.
Thank you. Yes, in regards to exploring an
Hang
option.
on, sorry, let's get Councillor Hannon back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me.
She said I'm happy to second that, yeah.
Councillor Hannon, we resolved to accept Councillor Healy's notice of motion with an amendment to Part 1C, which was to add two ways to engage young people who are not attending Finley High School or TAFE and reside in our LGA, including those who attend school in Victoria. Okay, we're up to item 10.4, Councillor Healy.
Thank you, Mayor. With regards to this notice of motion, I appreciate that we are committed to maintaining clean, safe and sustainable towns across our shire. And currently residents have to transport hard waste items to facilities, which can present challenges for those who lack access to a vehicle, trailer, financial means or physical capacity to do that. More specifically, our more vulnerable people in our community that impacts, our elderly residents, people with disabilities, people who are socially isolated and those with limited resources. So I'm requesting that a report be brought to outline a method that we could, and the costs associated to potentially providing a curbside hard waste collection across our shire.
Okay. Would someone like to second that notice of motion? Councillor Stringer. Anyone have any questions, wish to speak against? For? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. We have a number of confidential matters, so could I ask someone to move us into closed council? Councillor Payne, Councillor Healy, all in favour? Thank you, carried. For those watching at home, we may be a little while as we have 9 items to consider. Thank you. We've just completed closed council. Just rehashing the resolutions during that, we resolved to appoint Nigel Fair as the chair of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. We resolved in relation to the Tocumwal Football Netball Club lease to authorise the Mayor and CEO to execute the lease between Berrigan Shire Council and Tocumwal Football Netball Club Incorporated for the Tocumwal Football and Netball Club rooms located on the Tocumwal Foreshore Recreation Reserve, and to affix the common seal of Berrigan Shire Council to the lease and all associated documentation required. 11.4 was commercial in nature and confidential, as were 11.5 and 11.6. Items 11.7 and 11.8 were withdrawn. And at 11.9, we adopted the Chief Executive Officer's Performance Agreement. So we'll now move on to item 12, which is the Mayor's Report. So on the 17th of July, I attended the Cobram Barooga Business and Tourism Business Breakfast in Barooga very early in the morning, and then on the same day, after dark, I attended the Tree of Knowledge lighting in Tocumwal. So that was 17th July. 20th of July, Councillor Healy and Councillor Hannon, along with the exec and the CEO, met with the new member for Farrer, David Farley, here in Berrigan. On the 22nd and 27th of July, I had catch-ups with our CEO. 4th of August, I had a meeting in relation to the Blewett Trust. The 5th of August, we had a citizenship ceremony here in Berrigan and our professional development workshop. 6th of August in Tocumwal, the evening of, there was a dinner with the Ramjo membership that was also attended by the member for Farrer. As part of that discussion, I asked the member for Farrer to advocate to the Australian Government in relation to an inquiry which the ACCC announced just the day prior, which will look at domestic digital roaming and improving mobile connectivity in our towns. It was determined that I should put a late notice of motion up at the Ramjo meeting the next morning in relation to that, and that has resulted in a letter going forward to the member. The following morning on the 7th of August, we had the Ramjo meeting. So, as I said, I had that notice of motion. I also put forward a notice of motion in relation to a Ramjo advocacy document, given that we have a state election coming and that resolution was carried and is in preparation. And there was also a notice of motion I put forward at the prior Ramjo meeting in relation to the future structure of the meeting, with a view to making them more strategic and less operational. Regrettably, those meetings were taking up a lot of time talking about things that really were not strategic. Oh, yep. And we resolved to move forward with the Ramjo meetings structured. They have 3 strategic pillars. So 3 of the meetings per year. There are 4 meetings a year, 3 structured around those and emerging issues, and the 4th to be conducted in Sydney with a view to engaging with members of Parliament and have them attend and meeting with them and so on. So that was a good step forward. The CEO suggested, which was a good suggestion, Country Mayors is on next week, next Friday. Next Thursday evening, they have secured a dinner involving the Prime Minister. And it was suggested that the matters relating to the Murray-Darling Basin Plan and buybacks could be a good question to pose to the Prime Minister. And so Cameron has been working with others in Ramjo in relation to structuring a question around that, and that has gone through to Country Mayor's office with a view to the Prime Minister. I believe where it stands is the Prime Minister will either answer it in his speech or the question will indeed be asked on the night. It is not clear at this stage, but that's politics. Would you like to expand on that point?
I can confirm, Mayor, that the Country Mayors Association Secretariat has confirmed that the question and its preamble has been provided to the Prime Minister's office and has been acknowledged as receiving. So we will see what happens when the Prime Minister addresses the dinner on that night.
Yep, we're trying to make friends to get a good seat too at the moment. We'll see how we go. 10th of August, we had another CEO catch-up. 12th of August, I caught up with Chan about our meetings, and I gave a speech on the 12th of August in relation to with the Fairly Leadership Program, along with the Moira Shire Council Chief Administrator Graham Emerson, so that was a good opportunity. On the 13th of August, at very late notice, I represented Ramjo at the Parliamentary Inquiry into Government Service Delivery, and got quite a few shout outs in relation to that. It's amazing what you can pull together with little notice. Anyway, we also met on the 13th of August with Murrumbidgee Local Health District, the new CEO, and the Health Network CEO, raised a number of concerns, same concerns that I continue to raise in relation to the inadequacy of healthcare here in Berrigan Shire, and the way that it's being managed from Murrumbidgee Local Health District. I did raise a specific issue in relation to workflow and an incident where a doctor was not available via telehealth at Tokemwal, which created, as I understand it, a whole knock-on effect where an ambulance had to be called, then they needed to go to GV Health and so on and so on. But if a doctor could have turned up on the video, all of that might have been avoided. So they're looking into that. On Friday, 14th, I was involved in the ARIC chair interviews, and then 15th on Monday, caught up with the CEO again, and today we have the council meeting. Would someone like to move to accept my report? Councillor Payne, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, all in favour in accepting that report? Thank you, carried. We'll move to our councillor reports. Deputy Mayor, would you like to start?
Not much for me, just the councillor development session on the 5th and today's meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis?
Same, yep, just the council business.
Councillor Brooker?
On the 29th of July, I headed over to Deniliquin with the Murray Regional Strategy Group to discuss the current Water Act in the review submission. And it's interesting to know that all these water acts and reviews are all coming into place and none of them are talking to each other, yet they're all interlinked through the Darling Basin Plan. The 5th of August, the development session. The 11th of August, the Barooga Advancement Group meeting. The 12th of August, we had another online session for the Water Act submission with the Murray Regional Strategy Group, and that's all finalised and now submitted. Last night I had the Barooga Rec Reserve AGM and today's council meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Hannan?
Met with the new member for Farah, the development session and today's statutory meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Stringer?
On the 24th of July, I was at a function at the Tokemwal Golf Club for a men's health forum where the Toke Men's Shed received a grant of $5,000.
That's good.
Which is being well used by the club, and I made it here today.
Thank you, Councillor Stringer. Councillor Healy?
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to the meeting with the member for Farah, I attended the community dinner that was a collaboration between Finley High School and Roaming Kitchens by Kate Murray, along with many local farmers and producers that worked with the school to make sure or to help them deliver what was an incredible night. And it was a really good example of what happens when people come together across the community. There were some great outcomes. I believe the students that were involved from the hospitality group, it actually contributed towards their practical hours. So that was part of them meeting their study requirements. In addition to that, I attended the TAFE Connects workshop with Finley High School businesses, agencies and TAFE to identify needs for within our shire. Again, we highlighted the need to include young people in that process. There weren't young people in the room and they were going to look into a separate forum for that. Attended the council workshop and the Finley Showgrounds Committee meeting on the 10th, where there was a really promising proposal put forward for the utilisation of the pavilion on an ongoing basis around, like as a bit of a cricket hub. So it'll be really exciting for the community to see how that progresses. And just one event that's coming up for us is the screening of Just a Farmer movie at the Tokemore Golf Club on the 26th of the 8th, and the Southern Riverina Collaborative working with a local group of Tokemore residents to support them to bring that to the community and hold a forum there,
Excellent.
which anybody can go to.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Healy. So just before I close the meeting, I'd like to welcome, we have some visitors here in the chamber, being members of the Finley and Tokemore Probus clubs who have come in to join us for morning tea when we conclude our meeting. And we're here today for a very special milestone, being 50 years of Probus in Australia. And I just got a few shout outs here. Thank you to Sheila Koffner. Where are you, Sheila? Where's Sheila? Is she here? No? Oh, the president of Tokemore Probus Club, and Cheryl. Where's Cheryl? There you go, Cheryl. From Finley Probus Club, who contacted us here at council so that we could organise this morning. So we'll all have a chat, and I imagine some sweets for sure very shortly, but thank you for joining us. So concludes our meeting today of August 19, 2026. Our next council meeting will be an extraordinary council meeting on Wednesday, 16 September at 4 o'clock. It will be followed by an ordinary council meeting immediately thereafter. Thank you, everyone.